everybody. My name is Jeanne. I'm a program coordinator here at Portal, and I'm very excited to meet you all today and talk to you a little bit about a postgraduate certificate in climate entrepreneurship. So, some key information about the program before we start anything. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the aim of the program itself. So one of the first key aim is that we're trying to build awareness. So with the program, we deepen the students' understanding of the widespread and varied impacts of climate change locally, and also encouraging a global perspective. We also try to build capacity. So the course focuses on empowering individuals by developing both individual and community capacity, providing students with the skills, knowledge, and tools needed to actively contribute to climate solutions. And finally, we foster community and networking. The course encourages the development of a supportive network and climate-conscious entrepreneurs and practitioners committed to driving change. To tell you a little bit more about the course itself and the structure of the course, it's a level 9, and there are 3 modules. Each of the modules is worth 10 credits. Key topics that will be covered during the course are climate justice, sustainable land use, bioeconomy, nature-based solutions, energy, future cities and housing, and climate action. As we said, there are 3 modules. Module 1 is Systems Innovation for Positive Climate Action. The second module is entitled Entrepreneurship Opportunities in Climate Adaptation and Mitigation. And finally, the third module is called Climate Enterprise Development. During this course with us, the students will develop their own action plans and solutions to climate-related challenges. You'll have access to a broad and diverse range of contributors, experts across disciplines, backgrounds, mindset, and career stages. So if you're wondering, is this course really for me? Here's a few things. First of all, the course is open to all backgrounds. It's designed for a diverse cohort. Any disciplines or profession are welcome. And we're not expecting any of you to have any prior experience in climate science or entrepreneurship. It also has a flexible format. So the course is part-time and is blended. So it's ideal if you already have a job or different responsibilities. The course is either face-to-face or online. As you probably know already, it's also funded via Springboard. So if you're eligible, you could get 100% funded or 90% funded. I'll give you a link toward the Springboard as well, so you can have a look through it. And finally, we have an inclusivity focus. So the course addresses climate justice by recognizing that some communities are disproportionately affected by climate change. Inclusivity ensures a broader representation and a more equitable climate solutions. We are also having a collaborative learning approach. So there's quite a lot of group work emphasis. The coursework is team-based, which encourages the students to contribute their unique skills and experiences, which reflects the real-world problem-solving dynamic. And we also do peer learning. So students are expected to support each other's learning. It's a very cool program, and I'm sure Pablo will tell you more about that, about the connection you make, about the people you meet in the course, and something we're really proud of, and we're really encouraging the students to be networking all the time. Finally, there's also the philosophy of the program. The course is about creating change makers. It's not just going to become a graduate. We try to foster critical thinking, systems innovation, and practical action. As we said, the climate is no longer someone else's problem. The course frames it as an issue with economical, societal, and personal dimensions, which are relevant to it. Some key points to talk to you, like last slides, and then we talk to real people, but some key points that are important before you make the decisions to join the course. As we said, the course is blended. So the first and the last session of each modules are in person here in the business schools on Saturday. And it runs typically from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. The provisional schedule is already available on our website. I've put the link in the chat box. I can put it again. So you already know well in advance when you will need to travel to Dublin for your face-to-face class. All the other sessions are online on Tuesday and on Thursday evening from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. During the class time, some of the sessions will be dedicated to group work. So you have time to work on your assessment during the class time. We also organize sessions that are assignment clinics, so just to make sure we can support the students in working on their assessment and being able to ask any questions you may have regarding your assessment. And finally, very important key point, we do provide you with a proper break between each module. So you have time to focus on your assessment, you have time to recover from one module before you start the next one. All our assessment are, sorry, we don't have any exams. I'm trying to say that. We don't have any exams, you only have assessment. So you don't have to be worried about having to sit down in a classroom with a pen and paper. It's not going to happen. You will have time to work on your assessment individually or as a group the whole time. One last thing I want to mention is that attendance in the course will be mandatory. So if you enroll with us, you will be expected to attend a minimum of 80% of your classes per module. And one of the main reasons is because this is a Springboard funded program. So if you get funded, you need to attend your course, and we keep an eye on it. But it's also, we keep an eye on your attendance because we want to make sure that you are okay during your program, that if you are a little bit falling behind, we will contact you. We will make sure that you have the support that you need. We are conscious that going back to education is not easy for everybody. It can be a challenge, but a lot of you will be mature students getting back to education maybe after a long time. You have different priorities in your life. So we want to make sure that we support you as best as possible during the course time. And I'm pretty sure we do a great job at it. Don't want to show off, but we're really good at supporting our students. So guys, do you have any questions before we move on to talk a little bit with Dan Rogers about the program itself, about the structure itself? Are we good? Yeah, I know I went through that quickly, but it's because these are information that are available on our website. And let's be honest, we're here because we want to hear about people experience more than anything else. So let's jump into it right now. Hi, Dan, how are you doing?
Good, thanks, Jeanne. Thanks for that overview. Very insightful. There was a question in the chat there in relation to whether the slides will be available. We will send people a link to the recording. Also, all the detail, as Jeanne mentioned, is available on our website as well. So feel free to check that out. If you Google TCD Climate Entrepreneurship, you'll find it very, very quickly. And we can drop a link in the chat as well.
100%. Thank you, Dan. Shall we start by maybe introducing yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Dan Rogers, so Head of Education in Portal Trinity Innovation Enterprise. So I oversee the accredited and professional courses that run within our unit. So just to give you a sense of what that is, Trinity Innovation Enterprise is a unit that sits outside of, say, school or faculty within the university. It allows us to draw on academics, industry experts, and a variety of contributors to make quite a special and unique course. So we work, for example, with different schools within Trinity to deliver a program like this, where we seek out specific experts in specific areas related to climate. And then because we're part of the innovation hub within Trinity Innovation Enterprise, we bring our own skills in relation to innovation and entrepreneurship, and we bring those together in this 310 credit PG Cert in Climate Entrepreneurship. It's a really exciting course. It's a course that's gone from strength to strength over the last number of years. It has a very active alumni as well from the program. So people who come on this program tend to I suppose, stay in touch with each other and potentially work on projects as well, after the program. We can talk more about that at the end, and maybe Pablo might reference some of that as well. So yeah, Dan is my name, and happy to talk to you about the program. Jeanne, I don't know if you have anything specific you'd like to ask me.
Super. Thank you very much, Dan. Yeah, actually, I'm going to just talk to you a little bit about the course and ask you a couple of questions about your opinion on the course. So one of the first questions that I have for you is, what do you believe are the biggest challenges in driving change in the field right now, and how does this course address that problem?
Yeah, so I suppose I think everybody on the call would probably agree, like climate is such a complex area. It spans so many sectors, in terms of the impact of climate, but also the research into climate solutions spans, agriculture, energy, transport, land, just to name a few. And also, I think that there are elements of these that are all deeply interconnected. So this course really aims to bring a systems thinking approach to climate solutions and climate entrepreneurship specifically. And by that, I mean looking at the systems that incorporate all of those different sectors and disciplinary areas, how they interact and how they can work together to propose sustainable solutions to the climate crisis. I think one of the things that often people feel is a sort of helplessness when it comes to climate-related issues. And I think this course is a great starting point where people can come and actually see, okay, are there practical things that I can work with others on to develop maybe solutions to some of the challenges that exist, using both my background and expertise and others that I might meet on the program as well. So I guess just following on from that, I mean, it's not one discipline alone that can solve the climate crisis. So it is really about that sort of interdisciplinary collaboration. And for that reason, we really welcome and encourage a diverse range of participation on the program. So as Jeanne mentioned, it's not necessary to come from one particular discipline. In fact, we feel that the richness comes from that diversity within the classroom. So you might have some people from climate science backgrounds, for example, but you might have people from arts and humanities, health sciences, et cetera, along with people who have a wealth of professional experience. And it's actually that diverse cohort that really creates the magic, and creates the innovative and the creative solutions that are proposed, in the context of assessments and submissions on the course. So in doing that, I suppose it's important to mention that students work collaboratively on this program. There's some group work. They're looking at real world problems. As with many of our programs, we believe in, focusing our assessments on things that are not just hypothetical academic exercises, but that have an actual tangible real world impact. So something specifically related to an area that has relevance to climate change, but is also quite topical. So then the other thing to mention, I guess, maybe is the entrepreneurial element of this course. We see this as, the beginning of an entrepreneurial journey. So when you come on a program like this, you might have an entrepreneurial background, you might not. Either is fine. But the course will guide you in terms of entrepreneurial thinking, practical problem solving, and I suppose help people to think more like entrepreneurs and become more opportunity oriented with respect to climate and sustainability. So it's really bringing about that kind of mindset shift in people who participate on the program.
Thank you very much, Dan. You answered a couple of my questions I was coming up with, so thank you. You were talking about how we have this community building around the course and how this is applicable then in everyday at work. Do you have any other example about how the course goes beyond the theory to provide some practical and actionable tools that the future students can actually use after the course is completed?
Yeah, so like as you mentioned, Jeanne, there isn't exams, so a lot of the learning experience on the course is in a group setting. So you will participate in group projects, assessments, presentations, workshops, reflective practice, as opposed to the traditional exams. So that actually, a big part of that is learning to work with people coming from other backgrounds, other disciplines, understanding sort of the team dynamics that exist, but learning to, work with people who have a different perspective to your own, and how you can apply, I suppose, theories of problem solving in quite a practical sense in that sort of multidisciplinary environment. And then I suppose you're also gaining specific exposure to practical areas such as sustainable land use, climate justice, nature-based solutions, renewable energy. So you're getting some exposure to these areas. Now, there's only a certain amount of depth that you would go into on a PG Cert course, but of course, there's opportunity for further reading outside of the program as well. So it will encourage you to do that. So the classroom time is one element of the course, and there will be a recommended reading element to the course as well, and an expected number of effort hours beyond the program itself. So yeah, I suppose people are really encouraged when they come on a program like this to apply their learning within their own sectors. They're probably participants tend to be coming from a particular sectoral background or disciplinary background. So it's about looking and reflecting on, well, how does the learning on a climate entrepreneurship course like this apply to me, apply to my workplace or my community? And then maybe the last thing to mention on that in terms of applying the learning beyond the course is that, as I mentioned, it's the first part of an entrepreneurial journey. And if you, in the context of a course like this, want to develop out an idea, we do have follow-on opportunities. So, for example, there are incubation and accelerator programs within Trinity Innovation Enterprise that people can progress onto. So, if you know, as part of a group on this program, came up with let's say, a nature-based solution or something that you felt was innovative, there's possibility to get a little bit of support and continue that idea beyond the course. Now, most of the incubation and accelerated programs are competitive entry, just to mention that, but there are follow-on opportunities if you're serious about entrepreneurship longer term. Yeah.
Super, thank you very much, Dan. I'm just going to take that opportunity to jump on a couple of questions we got here from Nick. So Nick is asking entrepreneurship. Are we studying spin-off type business opportunities? I'm not sure that's a question you can answer, Dan, but
Yeah, are we studying spin-off type business opportunities? Yes, entrepreneurship is such a broad term, you know. So entrepreneurship, in many people's minds, they do feel it's synonymous with startups, but actually, an entrepreneurial mindset, an entrepreneurial thinking, and an entrepreneurial approach to problem solving is just as relevant, just as important within an organizational setting. So yeah, it both would be the answer. You know, it's looking at what is the role of an entrepreneur in the context of climate, and many people would come on a program like this with a view to moving into climate related roles within organizations. Equally, many people would come on with an idea that, yes, I'd like to spin out a company and I want to gain entrepreneurial skills in the context of the program. Just looking at the second part of that question, does the certificate count towards the diploma level? So no, it is a standalone award. It's a level 9 postgraduate award, 30 credits. So there isn't automatic progression to diploma. However, you know, completion of a course like this, you'd be very well positioned to apply for other higher level courses, some within Trinity. So, for example, there's a master's in environmental science, which, you know, this course would position you well to apply for. But there are other courses also that you know, you could look at as follow-on study, but there isn't automatic progression from this to a diploma or master's. Yeah.
Thank you, Dan, and thank you, Nick, for your questions. Dan, is there anything else you would like to add before we move on to speaking with Pablo?
So just very briefly, I suppose, you know, in terms of the kinds of skills you will take away from a course like this, just to put very tangible, just to make it tangible for people, you'll come away from this program with a good, strong foundation in systems thinking. So an understanding of how systems work, how different components of a system interact, and how important that is in order to design holistic and sustainable climate solutions. You'll also come out of a course like this thinking much more like an entrepreneur. You know, will you have a solid understanding of innovation and the role of innovation in coming up with solutions for climate, for the climate crisis. But you'll also finally learn a lot of transversal skills. So all of that sort of interaction with team members, the pitches, you'll gain communication skills, you'll develop all that public speaking and all that understanding of, I suppose, how creative ideas evolve within a multidisciplinary context. So you'll gain a much greater comfort with all of that, as well as some stakeholder engagement as well. So just I wanted to give you some kind of tangible takeaways. Yeah, important. We'll chat to Pablo, who's a graduate of the course. He may disagree with everything I've said, or he might agree or not. We'll see. We'll see.
Thank you so much, Dan, and thank you for that beautiful transition toward Pablo. How are you, Pablo? Hello.
Good. Thank you. No, not at all. I completely confirm what Dan has said. I have my little notes, and I had a very same order. Firstly, that
it's a little hard to hear you,
can...
Pablo. Pablo, it's a little hard to hear you. I don't know if your microphone is covered or.
Good. Let's see if it's possible to fix that in the meantime.
Can you hear me now?
It sounds like there's a bit of echo around you. I don't know, maybe.
It's just very muffled, Pablo. Almost like there's something covering the mic, or.
While Pablo is looking at that, just so you know, once you register with us at Trinity College, you officially become a Trinity College student. So you get all the benefits of becoming a Trinity College student. That means you get access to our library, to our gym, you get an official induction, and you also get a proper graduation. Like Dan said, Pablo is a graduate. So you would actually, if you pass your assessment, which I'm sure you will get a proper graduation. You'll have your beautiful gown, your hat that you'll be able to throw. So that's a wonderful day that we really, really love here. Second favorite days, first one is your induction, second is your graduation. So we see your proper journey with us. So that's another perk that you have at doing a course with us. And it's, as I said, a really, really lovely day. So I just wanted to let you know while Pablo was looking at your sound. Are you okay to give that a try now, Pablo, to see if it's working?
Let me see. Do you hear me better or no?
And now it's the same.
What about
Are you? Oh yes, that's better.
So yes, no, I would say I completely agree with Dan. What Dan said is one of the first skills that you get, let's say, is the academic and basic entrepreneurial, and as well system thinking is a key. From my background, I'm coming from product management and product design, and I learned, for example, design thinking, but not system thinking, which is a more global understanding to analyze, or more global view of to analyze a problem. So in that way is where it interrelates with the cultural, or how do you say, when you analyze from multi dimensions a problem. So one of the tools that we all were crazy when we started analyzing problems was oh, sorry, I'm forgetting. We learned a lot of tools with system thinking. System thinking brought me, and I will go after on how I am now, brought me to discover and analyzing deep problems that were to do with climate related, but in reality, once you are in a group, like in the first module, you're gonna start all the tools, the technical tools, in a group, multi-diverse from different areas. You're gonna discover the different views of your colleagues, and with that is up to you to leverage whatever view is coming with someone else, and otherwise or join with where you are working to progress on whatever is the project. In my
Pablo,
side, yes.
could I? Sorry to interrupt, Pablo. Just taking a step back for a moment, maybe you tell us like what was it that drew you to the course in the first place in terms of like your background, or what was it that interested you at the outset?
Climate Entrepreneurship. The whole title is it's to do with my background. So I'm economist by career. Then after I study sustainable energy finance, then technology, and I've been developing ideas. So some background in entrepreneurship I have. Now I'm in my, like I said, in my theory project as well. And when I saw the course, I wanted to become more seriously on the topic of climate entrepreneurship. So I was already researching on the idea of carbon footprint, and now where I am is to do with energy efficiency tools. So the course gave me all the tools to develop the project, the idea that I'm working on.
Very good. And tell me this. So obviously you were part of a group for your assessments and working within groups. Was there a particular kind of experience that you had of group work, or perception maybe that you had in advance? Some people find group work challenging, and sometimes working with people from different backgrounds and disciplines where people have different approaches. Did you have any prior experience of this, and how was your experience on the course in terms of group work?
Yeah, I will say briefly, the first day that you are in the course, you are put in a group and say, guys, you come out with a problem, you resolve with based on your background, how you can resolve it with almost no tools or with just a small brief. But everyone comes with different, from the different dimension, from the different view, how to resolve a problem. There was an electric engineer, there was a teacher, there was a lawyer, a finance, and myself in finance as well. So how can we up with a problem that with no background, with no idea of our background as well, how we will resolve? Some they have experience in project management, others only experience on how to present the financial statements. And uh, from that moment is when you understand how important is to have the view of the other one and try to bring together in our case was a climate solution for our problem. So the first idea was to do with transport, and with that we related with energy. And I can say I was taking from the very first day all the opinions and ideas of my colleagues, but then and that's basically what's brought me where I am now. Of course, I have evolved a lot in the idea going deeper, but is once you listen to different opinions is how you focus on the problem. Without having experience, is as I'm saying now, working alone, it will never work, right? So,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
importance of have a multicultural, multi profession groups is the most important.
And just in terms of like the learnings on the course, was there anything that struck you, you know, that was brand new to you that maybe changed your perspective in any way? Like, was there any real standout kind of highlight for you in terms of the content or the curriculum?
As I said, thinking, it make me view on much broader any type of problem, while I was mostly on design thinking, just a very narrow view. In my view, that's what I was considering. And then all the specialists that are going to the classes and give you their experience, their knowledge in each of the topics, because you're gonna have per module easy 4 specialists, I think, per topic, and you're gonna listen per module all different points that will give you a little tips on whatever you are looking for, obviously in the topic of climate entrepreneurship.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Great. Um, and I suppose, like, is there anything that when you came on the course, um, uh, I'm conscious that like many people come from, you know, returning to education. So sometimes people have been out of education for some time. People are coming from different circumstances, some professionals, some entrepreneurs. Was there any kind of challenges that you encountered when you came onto the course? And if there was, how did you overcome them?
Maybe I'm a very positive person, but
It's
no, I
okay. It's
can
okay if
see
there wasn't. It's okay if there wasn't.
more than people, let's say, struggling with what is the normal life, or maybe
Yes.
family problems, work
Yes.
problems, something like that, and trying to accommodate their times
Yeah.
to the course. But after
Yeah.
that, no one, I think, had any problem with the content, with the subject that were provided, or with the person that was providing the course.
Yeah.
Um,
So that's a very real concern, I think, for a lot of people is, you know, the juggling of family and work commitments and all of that when taking on a program like this. So I think that that can be something that comes up, and sometimes people have questions around the sort of commitment, let's say, required of the course, in terms of the classroom hours and then the assessments outside of that. So it can be a concern for people. But you found it was manageable.
was manageable,
Mm.
and as well, the teacher were always open to talk if at any case of struggling. And then at the end of the day is you, your chair, and your book to learn, or to be taking a train to go to class. But it's all about learning, whether it is an A or it is a C. I think that everyone that joins the class, it will get a very good course after that.
And then last question to you, Pablo, like in terms of your own work, are there elements of the course now that you're applying, I suppose, in a tangible way in your work life?
Yes, totally. So since I done the course, I presented the last project. The last project, I'm gonna tell about my current project, right? So the project that I presented for the course was about a new method funding for EV chargers, because I saw that in the course I realized that we are in the chicken and egg problem, where there is not enough cars. At the time they weren't selling many electric vehicle cars, but because there was no EV charger. So I was trying to find out what is the solution, why there are not enough EV chargers. So a new method of funding. But so when I finished, I presented, was good, but then I keep evolving, and specifically on a topic that is compliance regulatory, that I discovered in the course a new regulatory directive from Europe that is OED3. So I found out that there are certificates are coming from the efficiency of energy, and now I have a platform to measure those volumes of energy, which is now slowly opening the market in all Europe to measure that, to provide those certificates. And that is what is bringing me Germany, Oslo, Belgium, London, and opening slowly markets. So it's a very good course where you get interested. You have to go deeper. You have to keep studying. It's not just a course, but will be enough. You have to keep yourself if you are interested, and you're gonna have the support. I keep in touch with at least one teacher, which is the tutor, but whenever you need, I'm sure you can send an email and contact them.
Yeah, for sure. And as I mentioned, it's often, I think, a question related to it in the chat. It's often a great opportunity to build a network, I think, with a course like this, because you get to meet people with a common interest, but across multiple sort of sectors, and working with them in an academic environment often can then lead to potentially professional relationships thereafter. Thanks very much, Pablo. That's really interesting, and it's great to hear, I suppose, directly from students and the student experience on the course. Maybe at this point we would just open to the room. Is there anything anybody would like to contribute, or questions about the course, either for ourselves or for Pablo? We'd be delighted to hear them. Conscious there's been a few questions in the chat, which hopefully we've answered satisfactorily, but feel free to ask any follow-ups if not.
And directly turn on your mic if you'd like to.
Just while people are thinking of possible questions, I mean, a couple of things to say just in relation to the process. So the Springboard application process. So people when applying for a course like this that is Springboard funded, there's either a 90% or 100% subsidy associated with the course, depending on the profile of applicant. There is a little bit involved in the application process, so we do recommend that people start that early if they're interested in the course. And once you start the application process, you can reach out to us, or we can reach out to you and support you through that application process, assuming obviously that you're eligible for the course. But one of the mistakes I suppose sometimes people often make is leaving the application quite late, and then realizing that they need certain documentation and they're dependent on other people to provide that documentation. So it is something to consider applying early for. Peter, I see your hand up there.
Yeah, quick one. Thanks to Dan, to yourself, Jeanne, and particularly Pablo for an interesting conversation. There was an earlier Zoom call, and on that Zoom, which was covering all the courses, right? And on that, you had some rough dates, suggested dates of the kind of starts and the modules and so forth. They haven't changed, I guess, have they? Do you
No,
know?
they haven't, Peter. It's the same,
Okay.
and you can even find the provisional schedule on our website. So I've just put it in the chat box there. You
Yeah.
have a website, and there you can even already download the provisional schedule. So it might still change because we're still, every year we're trying to improve our course, our delivery, our assessment. So over the summer we work on it. But provisionally you have the schedule there ready, and hopefully it won't change too much.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great stuff. And then, yeah, so just as part of that process, that does take a bit of time. There are references required, there are transcripts required. So those things can take some time to get. Also some students are maybe applying under RPL, which is recognition of prior learning. So this course requires a level 8 degree. If you don't have a level 8 degree, and you're applying as an RPL applicant, it just means you need to make a case and go through a particular application process, which our student recruitment manager would guide you through. So yeah, there's just a couple of scenarios like that you may need to consider that will take you a little bit of time. So if it is a course you're interested in, the places are limited, and the application process does take a little bit of time. So starting early would be the key message. I don't know if I'm missing anything there, Jeanne, to mention.
No, I don't think so. You have all the description as well on my website, and you're gonna need some reference letters as well. Sorry, Beverly, go for it.
Oh, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. My apologies for that.
Thank
I
you.
have a question, please. How many places are available on this course?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think it's 36. I will just confirm that now, but I think it's 36.
I think so too, yeah. Top of my head, I was going to say 36 as well.
Thank you.
So we tend to have groups that are not too big. As we explained, it's a lot of group work. It's a lot of you guys doing the work as well. So we try to have the classroom not too big. So it's easier and everybody has the chance to participate and to talk with the contributors and have their own time as well. So 36.
Could I ask one more question, please?
Of course.
Could I ask one more question, please? Is it a first come, first served basis? So whoever has their applications and all the required documentation in and everything is okay, does it go like that whoever's in first gets offered first?
So applications are reviewed and accepted on a rolling basis. So it depends on an applicant meeting the full eligibility criteria, but the eligibility criteria spans two categories. So one is the academic eligibility and the other is the Springboard eligibility. So assuming an applicant meets both of those and their application comes in, yes, places are offered on a rolling basis. Yeah.
Thank you.
So unless there's any other questions, and obviously we're more than happy to hang on and chat if anybody wants to ask us anything directly. Just to say, our student recruitment manager, Jeanne, Corre, is the key point of contact. She's not on this call just because she's on leave today, but she's the key person who you'd be communicating with about an application. Springboard@tcd.ie is the email box for any queries in relation to any of our Springboard courses. So if anything occurs to you after this, please feel free to drop us an email directly and we'll come back to you from that address. I'll just maybe drop that in the chat so people have it as well. Yeah.
Just to answer Alan asking about the professional references, ideally, if you can have an academic reference, it's preferred. But if you're struggling with that, drop us an email and we can see what we can do to support. We have a template, for example, that we can send you, and usually accelerate the process of getting a reference, for example. So if any of you need a hand with a reference, we can send you a template, makes it much faster. But yeah, ideally we would have an academic and a professional. In some circumstances, we could accept two professional references. That would be kind of more case by case.
Very good. Okay, I think we might close out our meeting then at that point, unless anybody has any other questions. I just want to say a huge thank you to Pablo for coming along today. Thank you for your time, Pablo. It was great to hear the student voice, so much appreciated. Yeah, we look forward to receiving your applications. And if anybody has any more questions, you can either hang on now or drop us an email at springboard@tcd.ie, and we'll be in touch with you. We try and get back to emails very quickly. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dan, as well. Thank you, Pablo.
Bye-bye.
Lovely to
Thanks,
meet you
Dan.
all, guys. Cheers.